In this lesson, we discuss about the Kickstarter algorithm. It's really important to care about it because the algorithm can be responsible for about 50% of the traffic of your campaign. So you need to understand more or less how it works in a way that you can do things that please the algorithm. And I know that this sounds like a science fiction plot, but this is how it is. So in this page, you can see in this slide, you can see the categories that the algorithm influences. So these are those that you can see on the home page of Kickstarter, but there are many categories in the inner pages as well. So if you're doing something right, the algorithm will place you, for example, on top of the homepage of many people, or on some kind of scrollable interest bars that are different for every person. So these are, for example, what I was seeing lately, and I took a screenshot. But what you might see depend on your history of backing on Kickstarter. So you need to understand that many potential customers that you can't reach in any other way will learn about your project through the algorithm and being placed in the right categories, which will appear on their home pages whenever Kickstarter thinks it's a good time. I want to show you what kind of influence the algorithm has. These are numbers from my latest campaign. You can see in the pledges area that 58% of the pledges came through Kickstarter. What does it mean? That people somewhat were on the Kickstarter homepage or some inner Kickstarter page, or were searching for the game through Kickstarter directly. There is a better breakdown on the right, and it's not always easy to read this stuff, but when you see the column type and it's written Kickstarter, that means that they found your project through the Kickstarter website in one way or the other. If you put it all together, in my case it was 58% of the pledges, so you really want to make sure that you're doing this right. Of course, the rest was done in different ways, and 21% is external referrers. That can be anything from links on a forum to newsletters to things like that. And then 19% pledge via custom referrers, which are most likely the ads we were running at the time. So there are a few things you cannot control in any way, because Kickstarter will give you a boost in these cases. The moment you launch, you will end up in the category just launch, especially if it's performing well. When the project is about to end, there's another category that says about to end. So you might end up in that one. And also I think Kickstarter also moves your project a bit in a more visible place when the project is about to end. And also when you're about to fund, in a way that it will help you get over that obstacle, the nearly funded category. And then there's a completely random thing. If some editor at Kickstarter likes your project, they might select you for the projects we love, which has its own category and also adds a little badge to your page. There's no way that I know of to influence that. It's just personal taste of the editors they have over there. But if you get picked, then you will get this extra boost as well. It's not gonna grant you an incredible result, but it's definitely helping. However, there are things you can control, and what you can control is that you know in advance what is going to be the typical campaign curve and the pledge distribution. For example, if we are referencing the chart on the right, you can see that you have a big boost in the beginning, then it kind of slows down in the middle, and then you can have another boost at the end. This is a typical curve. But you still need to do the right things to have, especially that boost in the beginning and that boost in the end, because they're not going to happen by themselves. The end boost is going to be easier if people respond to the 48 hours to the end of this campaign or 8 hours to the end of this campaign emails that Kickstarter sends automatically. And the initial boost, it's going to be bigger if you have a lot of people who bookmarked your campaign, or anyway, some kind of huge follow that is ready to back in the beginning, and they already know about the project. You don't need to explain anything. They know that it's happening and they're going to be there on day one. There are other things you can control. It is my understanding that so the way the algorithm works, it's not public. So I cannot grant this 100%, but seeing how other creators are doing things and what they are discussing and what they found out, and my own personal experience, I think these rules are something that applies. So the number of backers per day, it's more important than the total number of backers. If you can keep people coming to the campaign, even if they back just a little, it's gonna be a very good thing. So it's better to have a lot of people that back a little than just a few people that back a lot, because you can actually cheat that system. So they want to make sure that people, the pledges are genuine. Then I have these numbers that were valid some time ago. I am not sure if they're still valid, but it's the best guess I have at the moment. So take them with a grain of salt. Depending also on the market that you are launching on, and probably if what you're launching is a tabletop RPG or a board game, these numbers are going to be different. But anyway, just to give you an idea, to get to the right category page, you need to have at least 50 backers per day and 80 for the overall page. This scale back according to what is the competition at the moment and things like that. So these are variable numbers. Again, like probably if you're launching in the US, this number are going to be higher. If you're launching in a smaller market, they're going to be lower. But these are numbers I've seen over and over, so they're quite reliable. Of course, these are high numbers, like getting 50 backers per day or 80 per day is not trivial, and you can get in these categories with less people, but keep these numbers in mind. And then you need to be at least 65% funded on day one to get to the popular pages. So you need to consider here, how high do I want to put my goal there for real? Because if I can get to 65% the first day, then my project is going to be more visible. So there's some risk there that you have to accept. Like, do I keep the goal lower so I get to this number quicker, or do I put it higher so I don't have a personal risk later? These are complicated evaluation that only you can do. So I found this average. The project that end up on the popular page, they are funded by day 6. I think you should aim to fund within the first 48 hours. That's the rule. If you fund within the first 48 hours, it's gonna be just smooth sailing until the end. Things that are contributing to the ranking. So before you're reaching the goal, it seems that the percentage of how funded you are seems to have more weight. And this is also important when you set the public goal, because of course the lower it is, the faster you're gonna increase that percentage. After you reach the goal though, they're really starting to look at the money that people are putting in. So you cannot really game the system both ways. So if you have a very low goal, so you crash it immediately, then there would be an expectation that people keep backing on at a constant pace and putting in a lot of pledges. So that's something that you need to remember. And other things that you should remember is that there are 3 ways basically to fund on the first day. One, we discussed it, is to keep your goal low. The second one is that you have expensive pledges, so every backer that you gain, it's actually adding quite a lot of funds to the campaign. And the third one is to have a massive community behind you. So even if they pledge less, there's going to be a lot more people doing that. Now, if you keep the goal really low, and that's just your public goal but not your real goal, you need to be sure that if the campaign doesn't go much over 100% of that public goal, you have the funds, your personal funds, to fill the gap between the public goal and the real goal. Let's make an example. So if your public goal is $10,000, but your real goal is 20,000, and the campaign funds only for 15,000, do you have the 5,000 extra dollars that are necessary for you to make the project? So you need to be aware that there's always one window where you will have some personal risk to manage. And that's why some campaigns pull the plug even though they funded, because the public goal they put is not enough to actually make the game. And they prefer to pull the plug, not be committed to making the game when they know that the gap between the public and the real goal is too wide, and they just don't have the funds to do it. Some people get mad when this is explained in public, but this is how it works. And there is this psychological effect that a lot of people wait. They don't back immediately, they wait until the project is funded. So unless backers change their way to support projects, this is the only way to make them successful. It's twisted. It's not how it is supposed to be, but you have to take some risk there between the public and the real goal. Also, keep in mind that if you are asking people for really high pledges, you need to have a strong community behind you, because if people don't know you, it's unlikely that they will want to put down hundred or even thousands of dollars, euros, whatever you're using.